The cultural trail is a big idea.
There really isn't anything like it in the country and probably not in the world.
This is an initiative that is ahead of its time, just like the interstate was.
And it's unique because we're looking at ways to use our streets more efficiently and effectively for all modes of transportation, not just for the vehicle.
The Indianapolis Cultural Trail is a world-class urban greenway trail that connects to every arts, cultural, heritage, sports, and entertainment venue. It connects the entire Greenway Trail master plan for Indianapolis and Marion County. It connects the 5 downtown cultural districts. But we also took a very close look about where is the city succeeding and where is the downtown failing. Our philosophy is to route the trail to about 70% of what's already great, and then 30% to places that need some extra inspiration and support. The Cultural Trail is this huge community-wide effort. It's about a whole new kind of innovative urban design in which livability is so powerful that people will want to come here from all over the world.
This is going to be a tremendous hit with our employees. They will use this. They'll use the trail at lunchtime. Some will use the trail to commute.
Millions of people will basically see that we've married art and culture on our streets and on our sidewalks and incorporated fitness and health and art at the same time.
All of those aspects of what this trail provides for transportation integrate into people with disabilities, wheelchair users, walkers, people with vision impairment and blindness, hearing impairment. The trail is the epitome of quality of life.
The Cultural Trail is going to be that tipping point that positions Indianapolis as a successful, progressive, creative, innovative city of choice. A city that can actually attract and retain the best and the brightest.
I'm in a battle for talent, to hire faculty, to recruit great students, and the trail will improve the quality of downtown and our campus, which makes us more competitive.
We think it's important and critical even to have an environment, including the cultural trail, that will foster creativity, foster collaboration, that will give us an advantage for our scientists to generate those insights that lead to the breakthroughs.
This trail reaches out to about 6 different areas. In some of those areas are the residents are economically disadvantaged. In always had an access problem of trying to get to the downtown area. They can have access now that they have a way of transportation, even accessing jobs.
Clearly it's going to be an economic driver. It will be something that we sell major groups and leisure tourists to come to the city.
We are already seeing tens of millions of dollars invested into new buildings, both commercial, retail, and residential, where the developers are quoting that the reason for their development is the Indianapolis Cultural Trail. So far we put 7 years into the project, and from the very beginning we wanted to build it to last. We've committed to a $6 million maintenance endowment, and that'll kick out $300,000 a year in maintenance revenue to deal with the landscaping and other ongoing maintenance issues.
We are replacing some infrastructure underground that people won't see, but that hasn't been replaced or improved for over 100 years. So we're improving drainage structures, our sewer system. Indianapolis Power and Light is improving a lot of their facilities at a much reduced cost. Probably close to 1/3 of the cost of what's going in to produce this trail really goes to support the city infrastructure that otherwise wouldn't have been improved.
The way that the Cultural Trail is designed is to really create the safest bicycle and pedestrian trails and pathways that exist certainly in America. We're taking a lane away from cars and giving it over to people.
Studies show that approximately 40% of trips in the United States are 2 miles or less.
We're recognized, unfortunately, as one of the highest air pollution cities in the country. So trails like this reduces our dependence upon cars, and it really improves our sustainability.
We're adding back over 500 trees along the entire route of the trail. We're adding thousands of square feet of landscaping. which it makes it very sustainable. The street furniture, the benches, the bike racks are all made of recyclable materials. We have stormwater planters, which are really deeper plant beds that collect the stormwater, filter it, and it helps reduce the impact on our combined sewer system.
We know that the Centers for Disease Control show that when people utilize these walking trails, that they improve their obesity rates so much faster than any other method they have available to them. This trail will have a long-term impact on physical fitness from generations to come.
The trail is not even complete yet. I think it's been a grand slam. You have people all over the world doing stories on the cultural trail. Now they view us as a very progressive city.
This is something that really makes our community distinctive and at the same time provides a catalyst for economic growth.
There's nothing like it in the rest of the world. We are literally leapfrogging every city in the world with this trail project. And it's so unique because it's bigger, bolder, and more beautiful than any other urban trail in the world.
The city that I grew up in won't be the same city that we're going to build. It's going to be different. But cities change. That's part of the DNA of cities. So the transformation is now in effect. It's really happening, and my job is to let the city government catch up to all the other great things that's already happening in Pittsburgh.
And the reality of today is that the automobile isn't the primary source of transportation for anybody or everybody anymore. Public transit, walking, biking, being able to use an automobile and doing it all safely. We've got to update our system.
Our protected bike lanes, we got into the race late. We did our first 3 in 6 months though. And we're looking to do the first 5 miles within 2 years. That will connect into a highway system for bikes that then will connect into our trail system as well, basically allowing you to get from any neighborhood to any neighborhood safely. We're going to be unveiling our bike share program. 500 bikes, 50 different stations that fit in with the plan of the bike highway system to make it even easier for people to be able to get in and on a bike and safely get from one point to another. We're developing multimodal transportation, the ability for people to get where they need to get by the transportation mode that they use. And you have to do it for each. Some people don't have bikes and they need to walk. You need to make sure that you have that. Some people need assistance when they walk because they're people with disabilities. And you make sure that public transit, automobile, bike, and pedestrian fit into your total budget.
Bill Peduto is the mayor of the future. He gets all of this, and he's in a city with so much infrastructure in the form of communities and place attributes. He can take this city to a new level.
He just dove head first right in, and he's been really making mountains move here in Pittsburgh, and that's not easy. We've seen more progress in the last 9 months than we've seen in the previous 4 or 5 years.
I wanted to be able to see firsthand the Copenhagen story and to be there with bike advocates who could actually teach me about how the infrastructure was put into place, how long it took, where the financing came, all those different parts of the puzzle that you usually don't get the full story to.
We took a study tour of 4 Pittsburgh leaders to Denmark this spring. We went to Copenhagen, we went to Malmö, Sweden, we went to Odense.
Being able to create a bike lane in the street that is still separated by creating a different level that tiers it and almost like makes a wedding cake of transportation from pedestrian to cycling to vehicle, and each having their own area to be able to do it.
We meet with some city staff, we meet with some other experts, but mostly we ride around, we talk, we brainstorm amongst each other, because half of it is seeing how things work there. The other half is, what are you going to bring back home and implement in your city?
The United States has fallen behind Europe in those types of initiatives. Pittsburgh had fallen behind other cities. My job is to have us leapfrog cities. So we're not going to settle at just being able to play catch up. We want to catch up and then go ahead. I've lived here, I'm 49 years old. Never during my lifetime has Pittsburgh grown. We've lost population. I basically thought that I would live in a city that the best I could do is manage decline. Now we're seeing that turn around. We'll have 20,000 new residents over these next 10 years. In the areas of Oakland that I talked about, the university area, we work with the community organizations to give variances to create less parking than the zoning even requires. And the communities out there support it, because what they want to see developed as we're building new apartment buildings isn't a reliance upon automobile that strictly places for every apartment there has to be one parking spot. We have started to allow bike parking to be used within our zoning code as well, to be able to count the spaces that are provided by bike racks as a component of your transportation needs. What do developers see with that? A more profitable enterprise, because a lot of the cost gets eaten up by creating underground parking. At certain times people will throw things out there like those cyclists should pay for their own roads. Well, they do. It's called taxes, right? We know that. It's not about car versus bike. It's about how to create the best transportation system. Don't get drawn down into those battles. Don't allow the debate to be at the baseline. Elevate the debate and start to talk about it in a more comprehensive fashion.
I'm just so pleased to see how enthusiastically he's diving into placemaking, building bikeways, creating pedestrian-friendly environments.
I think Pittsburgh could become the city of the future too, and we're going to see the resurgence of cities in ways in the next 10 or 15 years that we haven't seen in the last 50 years.
To be able to have people that are proud of the work you're doing, I don't care what field you work in, it makes you feel good. To have those same people who had that same thought that they never thought they'd see the city become the city that we knew it could be, makes it even more worthwhile.
You know, when I heard people tell me that a bicycle trail coming through these little towns was going to revive them, I laughed. I said there is no way. And what I've seen over the years is these little towns that fell apart when the mills disappeared and the railroads disappeared. I thought that they would disappear too. And when I come through them now, employed in the bike business, by the very thing that I laughed at, I'm kind of, eating a lot of my own words. They have come back very much.
Almost half of our business is coming off of the bike trail.
Last year we had a record year of sales here at the shop, and this year we're already at approximately 27% above where we were at last year.
That's where the huge economic impact comes from, is those overnight stays, because they're staying, they're eating, they're drinking, and they're buying things.
We've broken through and we're doing awesome, and I appreciate all of you guys that pass through here.
Absolutely, yeah, about the second largest portion of our business.
The trail's an important part of our community. It is, been said, the most important economic development tool in Allegheny County in the last decade.
We love the Sojourn. We love this stuff coming through here. I'm excited to see my shop full of people.
But at least 90% of my customers are the bicyclists off the trail.
At lodging, it's 95% is attributed to the trail at the hostel.
And the trail has brought us, a tremendous amount of business, especially our bed and breakfast.
Without the trail, we wouldn't be here. This town has a full-time residence of about 660 people, and that's not enough to support a bike shop.
It's a direct connection. As more and more of the trail is completed, my business has grown.
And bikers are looking for amenities, like whether it be places to stay, shuttles.
It's actually growing. We've got about 80 to 85 people who are using our services.
So they may stop and say, wonder what Brunswick has in the kiosks. All the signage is helping us accomplish that.
They're looking for bed and breakfasts, they're looking for restaurants, they're looking for bike shops, they're looking for souvenir shops.
And thanks to the support of the bike trail and local business, we were able to expand last year.
We've had businesses move and expand and get larger and expand their menus. It's just
so it's huge numbers. It's huge for this local economy.
Every single day,
There are people using the canal and the Great Allegheny Passage every day. Every day.
Okay. This year I'm getting a lot of calls ahead of time, you know, people planning bike trips, making reservations.
To exceed and make it to that next step, yeah, no trail, no business.
The community here has been downsizing over the last 30 years, 40 years, major industries leaving. So tourism is a key part of what we're doing, and so the reason I'm here, I've got 4 full-time staff and 12 part-time staff.
Numbers are showing an impact in excess of $3 million a year by the trail, and probably 2/3 of that money, almost $2 million of that money, is what we commonly refer to as OPM, other people's money, from out of the area. I mean,